Hi friends, this is CC and welcome to Hobby Hands. In this vlog, we're going to turn all this into this. Yes friends, in this vlog we're going to build this, which is the Hella 1/72nd scale model of the Aerospatial SA316B Alouette III Gendarmerie, and the model number is 80286. Let's look at what's inside the box. First thing we see is the instruction manual. It's in color. Nice. And a very nice layout plan here, or color scheme here. There's two different versions that you can build. That one looks nice. And let's see what else is inside the box. We find that there's 4 white sprues. There's not much flash. The panel lines are raised, so I'm gonna have to do a bit of scribing, but not very many parts, and they are quite small. And this is the clear sprue. There are 3 large pieces of clear canopy. Clear parts look quite thin and bit of distortion. This is the decal sheet, quite a big decal sheet, and there's a little catalog. Alright, let's start building. So first we're going to build this, which is the cockpit parts. So it'll be those bits there. We'll leave that one for now, and up to this stage here. Alright, let's start. There are bits here, there are parts here which are like the seats, the seat legs, and the control sticks. Alright, so let's start building. This is the center console. We'll start putting together some of the control sticks. Alright, so with the cockpit parts, there is a part here which needs to be scribed. There's actually a door there, and it's got raised panel lines, so I'm going to scribe that. So use a bit of scribing tape. And just run the scriber a few times over the part, and this will create a line that's deep enough. Maybe 3-4 times. That should create a line that's deep enough. Alright, I gotta cut this bit out here from the fuselage per the instructions. Let's start painting. Alright, now this heli might actually be a bit tail heavy. So you can see the main landing gear is sort of towards the front. So I'm going to put some weights here. There's a little hole which I've taped it up with some masking tape first. And I'm putting in the weights or the ballast. Probably don't need a lot because it's got the tail is not very big. Let's put some quick or some thin CA glue. And just leave it to cure. Let's keep going. This is the rear fuselage parts. So the instructions call for this part to be assembled now. And I'm just taping it together with some masking tape to hold it while the glue cures. The two halves actually don't align very well together, so I got to do a bit of adjustment. Alright, now this stage I'm actually going to dip the clear canopy pieces into floor polish. Dip it into the floor polish, shake off the excess, and then just blot out any remaining floor polish onto a kitchen towel. There you go. And when all done, we'll put it into a little box with a cover so that the dust doesn't go on it. Alright, what I'm doing here is giving the cockpit parts a clear gloss varnish. Right, now that the varnish has dried, what I'm doing is then just giving all the parts a panel line wash. Alright, now the panel line wash has dried. Let's clean up the splodges. So just with a cotton bud and some thinner, just run it across like that and clean up the splodges. And what you do get is then a very fine panel line. Alright, so now we need to put some decals into the cockpit area. So it's just these two pieces here, which is the instrument panel and the little sticker on the next to the door. Use some Decal solution. And done. Okay, so the last thing we'll do here is just give the cockpit parts a quick dry brush. I use white, and this picks out the high areas and gives it that light and shadow effect. So do that on the seats, the back of the seats. Also gives the seats a bit of a texture. Alright, when everything's dry, what I do next is just to coat or give the cockpit parts a flat finish. So what we are doing here is actually putting putty on the joint lines. This is for the two fuselage halves that we joined earlier, and that it actually didn't align very well, so there's a bit of puttying to do here. Right, now the putty has dried, so I'm going to then just sand the puttied areas. I'll start with a 600 sanding stick, which is going to take away most of the material. This is also 600, but a smaller one. Alright, followed by an 800 grit. And 2000 now. And finally a 6000 grit. Right, so what we're going to do next is to start to install the clear canopy parts. So there's 3 pieces that need to be installed. Do a quick dry fitting. Alright, now to put some glue on. Like that. We'll just leave that to dry. Alright, now we have also installed the front windshield. So it's now time to mask off the clear areas. So a fair bit of masking will need to be done because there's a lot of clear canopy area on this heli. Use a cotton bud and a toothpick to push out any air bubbles underneath the masking tape. Alright, now with a sharp blade, I'm going to cut the masking tape. There we go. As you can see, the masking for the entire canopy area has been done, and the areas which are clear have been masked off, and any leftover are going to be painted over in body colors. And just show you at the top here where I joined the two clear pieces together. I actually just use a surfacer instead of putty. Alright, now as you can see, I've actually done some pre-shading on the aircraft, on the helicopter, and then I'm going to then use this nice blue color. So firstly, we also have to paint the exposed frame areas with the internal color. So what I'm doing now is actually painting the exposed frame areas in the interior color, which is like a light gray. Alright, now that that's done, so the next thing I'm doing is painting that base blue color. The pre-shading doesn't show through very well with the main blue color. Actually might do some post shading in a lighter blue. So what I'm doing now is actually giving the whole heli a clear gloss. Maybe 2 coats of clear gloss to make it really shiny and smooth. What I'm doing now here is to apply panel line wash. I'm using black panel line wash here, but with the blue fuselage or dark blue fuselage, it might actually benefit from a bit of light grey panel line wash as well, just to simulate the dirt that gets caught in between the panels. I'm using a cotton bud and some thinner to clean up the panel line or the splodges. And this leaves a very fine panel line. I'm going to do this version here, which is the first version. So let's start putting decals on for that top version there. The version at the top is actually an Alouette from the 90s. I'll use some decal solution to make the decal stick better. Oh nice, white decals are actually quite opaque, so the blue color underneath doesn't show up. Use a cotton bud to just press out the excess water underneath the decal. And then use some decal softener. Alright, what I'm doing now is all the decals have gone onto the aircraft, and I'm giving the aircraft another coat of clear gloss. This is to protect the decals. Alright friends, all of the parts are ready now to be assembled. This will be the final assembly. So I'll be creating a few sub-assemblies like the engine area, the rotor hub and rotor plates. But what I'm doing now is actually going to assemble the landing gear. The holes for the gear struts are actually a little bit small, so I'm actually using a little drill there to open up the holes a little bit more. Okay, time to put some glue on. Now time to put on the wheels. This is the nose landing gear that I'm attaching now. Just attaching some of the other parts on the fuselage. This is the helicopter's rear skid. As you can see, most of the aircraft is now completed. Engine and tail, rotor, everything's done. So I haven't put the main rotor blade on yet. Yeah, so what we do is put it I'm not going to stick it on, but I'm just going to lay it on top of the rotor shaft, and it can turn. So at this stage, what I want to do is to give the whole aircraft a bit of a dry brush with some white. The helicopter is actually quite it has actually quite a few areas that jut out, and the dry brush in white does give it a highlight. So dry brushing is quite easy. Just get some paint on the dry brush, get rid of most of the material on the kitchen towel, and then lightly brush over the parts of the aircraft where you want to highlight. Alright, I'm also going to do a little bit of a weathering. So I'm using some weathering paints. Firstly, a bit of soot near the engine area, and then just a bit of engine highlights. Alright, what I'm doing here is actually giving the whole aircraft now a flat clear varnish. Alright, so this is one of the few final steps, and that is removing the masking from the clear cockpit areas. With a sharp knife, very carefully lift the masking tape. Take your time on this step because you don't want to ruin the work that we've already done. So there you go, friends. The Alouette Gendarmerie is all completed now. As you can see, there's a lot of clear areas and gives you a good view of the cockpit. So some thoughts on this aircraft. The canopy clear pieces were not the best fitting, and they are not that clear because there's a little bit of distortion, and the seam line where the two pieces join together was really difficult to remove. The decals I found were a bit hard and stiff and didn't react very well with decal softener. Now the last thing I'll do is put the rotor blades on. Give it a little turn. All done. A few months ago I actually built another Alouette, and this is for the Security Civil version, which is in red, and it's got some snow skids. So I thought I'd put them together just to show you. There you go, friends. Hope you liked that vlog. Please subscribe to my channel and please give me a like. Leave me a comment below. And please share the vlog with your friends and family. And thank you very much for watching.